Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you here with me again for another exciting episode about XRP. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, no matter where you are in this amazing world of ours. Now, before we dive in, I want to be completely honest with you. You know how I like to jump around between topics in my videos. Well, sometimes that means I forget to mention some really important stuff. And today, I need to circle back to something crucial that I should have covered in my earlier video. HSBC's big move. The dots are connecting. Here's what I missed. HSBC is rolling out cross-border tokenized deposits. And guess what? They've already partnered with Ripple. I'm telling you, the dots are connecting so fast, it's almost impossible to keep up. Everything is starting to tie together beautifully. And here's where it gets really interesting. Chris Larsen was actually on HSBC's board. You've got Brad Garlinghouse involved with the World Economic Forum, and Chris Larsen has serious connections too. We're talking IMF, HSBC, and probably tons of other partnerships we don't even know about yet. What I've noticed over the past few weeks is incredible. It's like watching someone put together a massive jigsaw puzzle. And these aren't just any pieces. These are huge puzzle pieces. And I have a feeling the biggest pieces are still coming. Thailand's love affair with XRP. Now, check this out. Thailand's best performing asset this year isn't Bitcoin. It's not gold. It's not even stocks. It's XRP. And I'm not talking about a small margin here. We're talking about a massive lead. But it's not just Thailand. South Korea, Japan, they absolutely love this cryptocurrency. And you know what? I think they already know what's coming. South Korea and Japan always seem to be ahead of the curve, right? They're often first movers, sometimes even beating the United States to new innovations.
And now it looks like cryptocurrency, specifically XRP, is following that same pattern. The RLUSD story, non-stop minting. Here's another exciting development. 3 million RLUSD just got minted at the RLUSD Treasury. This minting just doesn't stop, and I think we're seeing incredible demand building for this stablecoin. And here's where things get really interesting. Remember that CFTC announcement about allowing stablecoins as collateral in US derivatives markets for the first time? Well, I covered that earlier today, but I forgot to connect a crucial dot. The Hidden Road acquisition. Strategic genius. Ripple plus Hidden Road equals RLUSD integrated into the derivatives market. Their offerings include prime brokerage services, foreign exchange, precious metals, digital assets, and over-the-counter swaps across various asset classes, plus clearing solutions for derivatives. That acquisition of Hidden Road that Ripple made, that wasn't just any acquisition. That was strategic genius. And it's going to bring serious utility to XRP as well. Remember, in 2024, Ripple launched their RLUSD stablecoin specifically focused on institutions. Here's the beautiful part. This coin uses XRP to help add liquidity. Can you see how RLUSD and XRP work together like a perfect team? This is exactly why, when these acquisitions are first announced, some people think, it's not a big deal, because XRP's price isn't immediately jumping. But here's the thing. This value is going to show up later. We're building the foundation right now. The global picture. And finally, let's zoom out for a second. The United Nations recently said something that really caught my attention. In this globalized, digitized world, we will work together and accelerate the global pact for the future. Everyone's starting to see this as a truly global event. We're not just talking about one country or one market. We're talking about a worldwide transformation. So, there you have it. The pieces I wanted to make sure you didn't miss. The puzzle is coming together faster than ever, and I genuinely believe we're watching history in the making. What do you think about all these developments? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if this video added value to your day. Subscribe if you haven't already. The digital revolution is here. But wait. Whew. I'm not done yet, because what we're witnessing isn't just about XRP or even cryptocurrency. This is a massive industrial revolution happening right in front of our eyes. Everything in the world is going digital, and this is exactly why you don't want to sell your XRP too soon. Think about it. Everything that gets digitized, everything that gets tokenized, has to move from one place to another. And what's the best way to move it? With a bridge currency like XRP, Parliament recognition, the $5 to $10 price prediction. Here's something fascinating from X-Finance. Bull, he's officially being mentioned in the news section of one of the biggest portfolio trackers, CoinStats. They're covering his analysis of XRP being discussed in both US and UK Parliament as critical global payments infrastructure. So here's their prediction. If Parliament declares XRP essential for global payments, the price could hit $5 to $10. Now, personally, I think that's way too conservative if this actually happens. But here's the thing. This is going to happen anyway. Right now, we're watching the UK and US work together on cross-border payments and regulations. And you know why regulation talks are so crucial? Because if your regulations are completely different from each other, cross-border payments simply won't work. But it's still too early to predict the exact price impact.
We've got some massive developments coming over the next few months, and we need to see where the starting line is before we can measure the real impact on XRP's price. Until then, it's educated speculation, but exciting speculation. The $943 scenario. Why this number? Speaking of price predictions, here's an interesting one. Experts are explaining an XRP $943 price scenario, citing Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Now, I have to ask, why $943? Why not just make it a nice round $1,000? They're talking about Ripple capturing 14% of Swift's business. But here's my take. Ripple's going to capture way more than 14%. I think that's just the early phase. And I believe Brad came up with that specific number because he can already see the transition happening. He knows exactly who's on board with RippleNet and who's still clinging to Swift. I'm sure there are tons of NDAs with banks that are ready to make the transition away from SWIFT. Plus, a lot of countries are actively pushing away from SWIFT too. This transition is inevitable, and I think it's going to start with ISO 2022, the new messaging system. That's when we'll really start seeing Ripple take over SWIFT's business. AI payments, the future is now. Now, let me blow your mind with something else. There's this thing called Bank Social. It's the only digital wallet built on Google's AI to AI infrastructure. We're talking about AI agents that send payments instantly. Stablecoins and crypto right next to your regular cards, all in one self-custody app. Picture this world. Your electric vehicle pays for its own charging. Your smart fridge restocks itself automatically. Your AI assistant pays all your bills in seconds. This isn't science fiction. This is a glimpse of tomorrow. And it's how life starts changing today. I'm bringing this up because I remember talking about AI paying other AI in my IOTA videos a few years back.
And back then, everyone was like, dude, this is going to take 10 plus years to happen. Well, guess what? We're here in 2025, and the rise of AI is already happening. You're going to see machines paying other machines, and you're absolutely going to have an AI assistant at some point. The bottom line. So there you have it. We're not just talking about cryptocurrency adoption. We're talking about a complete transformation of how money moves in a digital world. The infrastructure is being built right now. The partnerships are forming, and the technology is advancing faster than most people realize. Your AI agent, working 24/7 for you. And here's the really exciting part. You're going to have an AI agent working for you 24 hours a day, getting you the most money out of your crypto while you're putting your crypto to work. The goal? So you no longer have to go to work. You can already see this transition coming. Actually, it's here now. Look at what Elon wants to do with all those robots next year. He's saying next year is going to be absolutely massive. Amazon? They're already pushing more and more robots into their operations. This is exactly why you keep holding your crypto, so you get rich before the rise of AI takes over everything. The Bitcoin corporate balance sheet narrative now. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan says Bitcoin on corporate balance sheets will double over the next year. They're really pushing that Bitcoin-only narrative hard.
Joining us, Matt Hogan. He is CIO of Bitwise Asset Management. Matt, welcome. I'm going to quote Matt Hogan to Matt Hogan. There are now more than 180 public companies that have added Bitcoin to their balance sheet, according to BitcoinTreasuries.net. That sounds like a lot.
It's a down payment. I think that number is going up. You know, some of these companies are those so-called DATs, digital asset treasuries, that just buy Bitcoin for their balance sheet. Mackenzie is right that momentum is somewhat fading. But on the other side of the balance sheet, you have a broader set of companies that, just like individuals, want to have 5 or 10% Bitcoin. Companies like Figma, companies like Block. I still think that corporate number is going to double over the next year or so. The amount of Bitcoin on the balance sheets are going to go up. And I think there's an even bigger story in ETFs, where the flows, from my perspective, are set to accelerate strongly into Q4. So I am still feeling bullish about this market. I take this pullback as an opportunity and not a setback as we move into Q4.
Look, I agree with him on buying the dip. That's smart strategy. But here's where I completely disagree. He's saying all these companies are going to start buying more and more Bitcoin, but what's going to happen when Bitcoin's price starts to crash? Everyone's going to be running away from Bitcoin as fast as they can. And that crash is going to happen. They all know it's eventually coming. The cycle is going to end, and we're going to see another bear market. The utility revolution is coming. Here's what I'm really hopeful for. Utility-driven cryptocurrencies are going to go into a full-blown utility run, where people are actually using these tokens for their real-world use cases. That demand for actual utility will keep their prices climbing even higher. But Bitcoin lacks utility. And even with all the regulations coming, they're trying to spin this narrative that regulations are bullish for Bitcoin. I don't buy it. When regulations really kick in, they're going to separate these cryptocurrencies clearly. Regulators are going to say, okay, XRP, XLM, XDC, these are utility tokens. Bitcoin? That's speculation. So when institutions want to enter this space, do you think they're going to throw their money into speculation? No way. They're going to invest in something that actually solves real-world problems, something that has genuine value. The great money shift, away from Bitcoin. And here's what's really telling. They even admitted that money's flowing away from Bitcoin. Even with the Bitcoin ETFs, the money's already shifting away from them. So where's it going? Well, XRP ETFs are coming out next month. I think these institutions are already looking past Bitcoin, and there's going to be incredible demand for an XRP ETF. People want something new. Here's what happened. They gave Bitcoin first mover advantage again.
When there's no other option, money flows there because people are eager to get into crypto. When Bitcoin ETF was your only choice, that's where your money ended up. Then came the ETH-ETFS, and they gained serious traction too. But now, something bigger is coming. You've got HBAR ETFS, Solana ETFS, XRP ETFS, and even more coming down the pipeline. I think you're going to see a massive shift of money away from Bitcoin and into these other ETF options. Companies building XRP treasuries. And some of these companies are going to buy the actual assets directly. We're already seeing XRP treasuries. More and more companies are going down this road because they can actually use XRP in their own business operations when they need to move value from point A to point B. Tokenization, the final piece. What else is about to explode? The rise of tokenization. As companies start tokenizing everything, they're going to need a way to move those tokenized assets from point A to point B. What's the best option? A bridge currency, like XRP. The ultimate truth. You know what?
Everything, eventually, is going to flow toward utility and away from speculation. That's just the natural evolution of any maturing market. Until that happens, stay patient, stay positive, and keep your eyes on the bigger picture. What do you think about this shift from speculation to utility? Are you positioning yourself for the AI revolution? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if this opened your eyes to something new, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, we're not just investors, we're witnesses to history in the making.